Hello, Lisa Dunbar here, nutrition and health coach, and I just thought I would do this little video update because it was recently 3 years since I gave up my smartphone and went back to using a dumb phone, and it's something that I got asked quite a lot about, whether that's something I'm still doing, and so I'm happy to report that 3 years in, I am still very happy with my dumb phone, very happy with that decision, and I'd never say I'd never go back to using a smartphone, but for now, the benefits that I experience far outweigh any inconveniences. So one thing I just want to make clear is that before I actually gave up my smartphone, I spent well over a year gradually cutting down, becoming more aware of how I was using my smartphone, becoming more aware of how it was making me feel. And the benefits that I've experienced began as soon as I started cutting down. So when I talk about giving up my smartphone, I'm not necessarily trying to encourage everyone else to give up their smartphone, but I am encouraging people to start becoming more aware of whether your smartphone could be affecting your physical or mental well-being, and I guess encouraging people to think about cutting down. Um, the second thing I want to make really clear is that I'm absolutely not anti-smartphones or anti the internet. Sometimes people make that assumption, or they're kind of confused to see me doing things on social media because I gave up my smartphone. But for me, giving up my smartphone was never about giving up the internet. The internet is an amazing resource, so useful, so essential for my business, and there are incredible things available and happening on the internet. So it wasn't about giving up the internet. For me, it was about getting the internet out of my hand and putting it somewhere that was still very accessible to me. So on my computer and my laptop in my little office area, but it just wasn't as accessible or as invasive because I felt that in the about 8 years or so since I had got my first smartphone, that somehow it had infiltrated and invaded every aspect of my life. It was just always there, always nagging me, always pulling me in. And I was spending and wasting so much time on it. Like I was just binging on it. And I always compare smartphones to chocolate cake, so bear with me. So chocolate cake is this lovely, delicious thing that we enjoy. It brings us joy. It's an important part of social rituals that we have, and occasions and celebrations and things like that. There are lots of positives and benefits to chocolate cake, but we wouldn't wake up first thing in the morning, reach over for a big chocolate cake and just start stuffing our faces and spend all day doing that. And there's two reasons for that. So the first reason is that eating chocolate cake comes with a natural stopping cue. Okay, so if you eat a lot of chocolate cake, you feel full. You could keep going. You'd feel a bit sick. You could keep going still. You might get sick. You'd completely lose your appetite for chocolate cake. So smartphones and the internet, on the other hand, are lacking a natural stopping cue. So they're actually specifically designed to encourage you to binge and to fall down the rabbit hole and to spend as long as possible on them. The second reason we don't binge on chocolate cake all day is because we instinctively and inherently know that that would not be good for us. Smartphones have only been around for just over 10 years, and so there's no extensive research or empirical evidence to prove that excessive smartphone use is bad for us. But that doesn't mean that it's not bad for us. When I do workshops on this subject, I always ask people whether they feel that their smartphone use is affecting their overall well-being in any way, and 80 to 90% of people will say that yes, their smartphone use is affecting their physical or mental well-being. So the thing back to chocolate cake is that it's very easy for us to sort of clearly and directly attribute the negative effects of eating too much chocolate cake, feeling sick, to having eaten too much chocolate cake. Whereas with smartphones, there's not really that sort of clear correlation between excessive smartphone use and the possible effects on your physical and mental well-being. But like for me personally, it never occurred to me that the burning headaches that I used to get up the back of my head, or the numbness that I would get down my arm, the things that had convinced the hypochondriac in me that I had some horrible illness, a brain tumor or something, it never occurred to me that that could be caused by my smartphone. But lo and behold, when I started to cut down on my smartphone and eventually gave it up, those symptoms completely disappeared. And I never would have thought that it was caused by the amount of time I was spending on my phone and how I was looking down at it and how I was holding it. But that's what was causing it. And in terms of my mental health as well, again, it never occurred to me that my smartphone use or what I was doing on my smartphone could be contributing towards, or at the very least, exasperating the crippling anxiety that I suffered from a few years ago. But again, lo and behold, when I started to cut down on my smartphone and eventually gave it up, my mental health improved dramatically. And I still to this day say that it is the single most powerful, most significant thing that I have done to improve my mental health. So I am a calmer, a happier, a more efficient, more effective, more productive, more energized person since I began cutting down on my smartphone. And it is something that I highly, highly recommend. So can I please encourage you to start thinking about detaching yourself from your smartphone? Remember that your time and your attention are the most precious resources that you own. They determine the quality of your life. So use them wisely. So first off, wear a watch so that you are not looking at your phone every time you want to know what time it is. And while you're at it, get yourself an alarm clock so that your phone is not the thing waking you up in the morning and you're not sort of falling down the rabbit hole before you've even barely opened your eyes. And then start thinking about making parts of your day or certain situations smartphone free. So always start with your bed. Get your smartphone out of your bed and then get it out of your bedroom entirely. Have that hour before going to sleep smartphone free. The first hour that you wake up in the morning smartphone free. And things like meal times, or when you are with other people, just in general, your friends, your family, even just try doing one thing at a time. So even if you're just watching TV, try to not look at your smartphone while you're watching TV. Um, and then think about what you are actually doing on your smartphone, what you are actually looking at, what's coming up on your news feed on social media. So go through your friends list and decide, well, are these people actually my friends? If I was having a party, would I actually invite them to it? And if not, then unfollow them. And the same with pages like celebrities or businesses. Ask yourself, does their content actually educate you, inspire you, or motivate you? Does it make you feel good about yourself? And if it doesn't, then you should unfollow them. And likewise, if you don't get value from this video, for example, then you should unfollow me as well. And then finally, think about doing a digital detox. So that's where I started off in the very beginning. I did a digital detox and it was such an eye-opener into how my smartphone made me feel, how I felt without my smartphone. And I'd really encourage you to do a detox for even just a day, and then incorporate it into your week. Every week have a day that's smartphone free. Thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you got some value from this. Now get off the internet and go live your life.